Hey guys, welcome to another video from Historic Militaria. Today we're going to be looking at probably one of the more rare World War II grenades that you're going to come across. This is the Soviet RPG-40 grenade. And this is an anti-tank grenade and was the predecessor to the RPG-43 grenade, which was a much more refined example. This grenade actually just relies on sheer blast and the amount of explosive that it carried for its armor penetration capabilities, whereas the RPG-43 used the shaped charge principle, which was actually much more effective against pretty much any German tank of World War II. This one is only going to be effective against sort of the earlier tanks and lightly armored vehicles in the German military. It was originally employed at about 1940, especially during Operation Barbarossa. Against the initial German Panzer tanks, it was pretty effective, and it continued in service until German later tanks were just too heavily armored and it really didn't do anything. It is a pretty massive grenade, as you can just see from the size of the warhead here. A loaded one would weigh in with about 1.68 pounds of TNT, usually TNT anyway, and that's a pretty massive amount of sheer explosive to be carting around in a grenade. So it was a heavy grenade and really only had a range of about 25 to 30 meters when thrown. And the way it operated was extremely simple, as is typical of a lot of Soviet weaponry. You pull this pin and out it goes, off comes your safety handle, and you're good to go. And you throw your grenade, and it is armed when it is thrown, and once it impacts a hard surface, it will go off. So you had to be pretty close to the tank, which sort of fit the Soviet fighting style. There wasn't a lot of hiding in a foxhole and sniping at things. You get out there in the thick of the action and you fight very aggressively, sort of like their submachine gun tactics, where you had short-range weaponry and you had to get out there and use it. So these grenades are not seen very often in the West. They are, there's really no way to say it except they're rare. This is the first example I've actually seen in person and had a chance to handle. I know that a lot of these were captured by the Germans and reissued by them as I believe the Handgranate 338R. Yeah, I believe that's the designation. I could be wrong on that. As you can see, this is an original World War II example. It is in pretty semi-relic condition, but it is complete and it is all here. It is, of course, deactivated, but it's pretty dented up. But you can see enough of the original paint to know this is typical Soviet World War II paint color. And you've still got your wood handle here and your safety pin and lever. And this would have been a live grenade, a standard one that a Soviet soldier would have carried. You've got your typical fuse hole up here. And this one is opened. And then you've got this interesting example here, which I'm making a few assumptions about this one because I've never actually found any reference material on this. But this, I believe, is a practice example of an RPG-40. It is made to be the same weight as one that is loaded with explosive to practice throwing for Soviet soldiers. So you've got your sort of weighted lead weight, I believe that's probably lead, around your wood handle, and I believe that's a wood body as well. So you've got this to give it some weight and give it some heft, and you just grab this and you throw it just to practice it. The US did the same concept. A lot of countries had weighted examples of practice grenades to practice throwing and see how good the soldiers could get with them. This is definitely probably even more rare than the World War II example we just looked at. I can't imagine that many of the practice ones survived, but Obviously, if you have got one of these, if you certainly have one of the practice examples, I'd love to know about it. Post in the comments, share some knowledge. I certainly do not pretend to be an expert on these because they are so few and far between. I know there's some minor variances in them, and if you've got anything that you can add, I'd love to hear it. And as always, like and subscribe to the channel. We'll always be doing something interesting, and I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. Thanks for watching.